Hi, I'm Riley Bowman, Director of Training with ConcealedCarry.com, and welcome to Shooter Ready Challenge. This is for the month of January 2022, and today we're going to be working actually just on a specific drill. Rather than breaking things down into their nuts and bolts, we're going to take a look at a very famous, popular shooting drill or standard, and then see what we can do with it and try a couple different things and look at the metrics that our sponsor of this month's Shooter Ready Challenge, that is Laser Activated Shot Reporter software, the metrics that software is able to give us. So anyway, we're going to dive into it, but first, again, our sponsors of Shooter Ready Challenge, LASR, Laser Activated Shot Reporter. This is the Laser X version, which is my preferred version to use because I love using it right on my iPad. So check out Laser X, go to lasrapp.com, that's the website. Look for Laser X, or if you want to explore the Laser Classic version, you're welcome to do that as well. The software is available in monthly payment subscriptions as well as lifetime licenses. I've got the lifetime license here. I use it all the time, so it's a great way to go. It's absolutely worth the money and the investment in your time and in dry fire. Also, another sponsor, and this is a relatively new sponsor of Shooter Ready Challenge, is Barrel Block. Barrel Block, while we don't use it necessarily a lot as part of this, because today, for instance, we're going to be using the SIRT pistol from Next Level Training. The Barrel Block is a device that goes into the chamber and the barrel of your live gun to make it completely inert and safe for dry fire practice, no matter where you are. I use it at home. I use it in the hotel rooms when I'm on the road. Barrel Block is the way to go for safe and effective dry fire practice with your actual live gun. Check out barrelblock.com. That's barrelblok.com. We appreciate our sponsors of Shooter Ready Challenge. So, what is the drill we're going to work on this month? This month, we are going to be working on the FAST test or drill. That is an abbreviation for the Fundamentals, Accuracy, and Speed Test, or FAST. This was created by Todd Lewis Green, who passed away a few years ago and was a well-known and well-regarded instructor in the firearms training community. This was a particular drill that if you could do this twice, back-to-back, in one of Todd's classes, you could earn one of the coveted FAST coins. The opportunity is still there if you're able to attend a training course with Ernest Langdon of Langdon Tactical, who's kind of carried on that legacy, if you will, from Todd Green. The FAST test it's literally a great test of fundamentals, accuracy, and speed. What we're going to be doing here for the drill is I've got my 1/3 scale USPSA metric target available for print right off of concealedcarry.com/print targets. And then the target zones, I've drawn in a rectangular target over the A zone because that's the only hits we're going to rely upon here today. Now, traditionally, the FAST test is shot on a IDPA style target, so using an 8-inch circle zone. I didn't happen to have something readily available today, so I'm just going to work with the USPSA target. Now, the USPSA A zone target size in surface area is actually really close to the same surface area of a down zero 8-inch circle hit area of an IDPA target. Obviously, the difference here is that the USPSA A zone is less forgiving on the horizontal axis, but gives you a little bit more forgiveness up and down. I am going to do my best to keep my hits at or above the letter A in the A zone. That's going to really turn this into an effective target zone of about a 6 by 6 inch target area. So that's going to push me a little bit here today. And then I'm going to try to actually hold myself to a tighter standard on the head target for the FAST test, which is normally the drill is shot on a 3 by 5 card for a head target. But I'm going to try to keep everything in the 2 by 4 inch alpha zone in the head. So basically we're just tightening things up today because this is training and there's never any harm in making it more difficult than it actually would be in real life. So here's how the drill is shot. On the signal from a timer, in this case our software, the Laser X software, we're going to get a beep. We're going to draw and fire 2 shots to the head A zone or the head box. 2 shots, perform a slide lock reload. Now, I don't have a slide lock capability on the SIRT pistol, but I'm going to simulate it. Now, I use the slide stop to close my slide when I do slide lock or combat reloads. So I'm going to simulate that action. As I insert my magazine, I'm going to act as though I'm hitting that slide stop and then rebuild the grip. And then we finish the drill with 4 shots to the body target. So in this case, our A zone that we're trying to keep more to that upper portion of that A zone to hold myself a little more accountable. So that's the drill. 2 to the head, slide lock reload, 4 to the body. The standard is being able to complete that cleanly in 5 seconds or less. So that's what we're going to work on here today. And I'm also going to introduce to you some concepts related to, we're going to test some things. In other words, we're going to work on things like our accuracy side of the house, okay, in shooting. We're going to work on the speed side of the house, and we're going to try to put everything together. Similar to what we've done with other Shooter Ready Challenge drills in the past. So when we first shoot this, we're just going to make sure we get all good hits. We're going to do that a couple of times, see what the data shows. Then we're going to go all out in terms of speed and just really push the speed component, be a little bit more aggressive in our shooting, accept a little bit less or actually accept more for an acceptable hit area as in our sight picture. And then finally we'll put it together with what we call match mode or real mode is another term for it as well. So we're trying to find that balance. And so that's what we're going to do here. A couple things here are going to be really key. Number one is going to be the draw speed, obviously, and the reaction to the beep, right? So we want to try to have that be at 1.5 seconds or less. Now, we give ourselves a little bit more time there. Typically a standard for a one-shot draw would be about a second to a A zone from 7 yards. In this case, we're going to a much smaller target, so we're going to try to make sure we get that first shot off within about 1.5. The second shot should be around a 0.3 to 0.4 split, okay? And then reload, about a 1.5 second reload, ideally, or less if possible. And then finally, 4 more shots to the body with those splits somewhere in the 0.2 to 0.25 range. If we do that, we will very consistently every time land in the 4.25 to 4.75 second range. Now, that might be a little bit too spicy for some of you out there, and that's okay. I'm just giving you kind of the standard and some of the numbers to expect if you are going to actually accomplish the 5-second standard. Now, Todd Green, if I recall correctly, actually considered any run faster than 7 seconds to be very competent shooting. And even getting it done in 9 seconds or less is still pretty well done. Again, I've done this before. I've done it in live fire, and I have done it many times successfully in live fire in that less than 5-second standard. So in dry fire here, I certainly expect myself to be able to do that as well. One more thing, I didn't explain distance. This is a 1/3 scale target. So for this to be true to what we would do in the actual test, we want to be about 7 feet away from our target. So that's about where I'm at here. Standing here puts me right at about 7 feet. So I get approximately the correct scale, relative distance, and the size of that target to me. So that's the deal there. One other thing, I talked about the draw and how important our reaction time there is and getting the draw done quickly and efficiently, obviously. The reload is another main time suck component potentially in the fast test. So that's something else we're going to have an opportunity to work on here as well. I'm actually doing this from my gamer rig, my competition belt and holster setup here. This is actually typically done from concealment, however, this drill. Now, why am I doing it today for my competition setup? The reason being is I've actually been doing a lot of dry fire recently from concealment. I've been really neglecting my outside of waistband and competition setup dry fire practice. So this is just my opportunity here today to work on this setup because, again, I've been doing a lot of work lately from concealment, and it's kind of getting into the start of the new competitive shooting season, so it's time for me to get that ball rolling. All right, so let's go ahead and take a couple of stabs at this. The first, we're gonna do this 3 times, and we're gonna do it back to back to back in accuracy mode, as we call it. So again, the standard here is I'm not concerned about time. I only care about making sure I get all perfect hits. And by perfect, I don't necessarily mean they have to be a super tight group in the very center of the target zone, but just every time I press the trigger, I have to know that the shot is good. Okay, that's the standard here. The time is irrelevant. All right, so I've got a reset zone drawn in the software down there. Here we go. And actually, I probably shot those last 4 a little bit faster than I needed to, but all good hits. So we're still holding the standard here. This was an accuracy standard. Let's break it down. My first shot time was a 1.88, a bit on the slow side, but again, time was irrelevant. We wanted to make sure we got good hits. My reload time was a 2.63. I kind of fumbled that a little bit. Now, as you're going to find out, there's going to be a lot of picking up of mags today because there's a reload every time we do this. Okay, so let's do it again. Let's do this a little bit more smoothly.
Are you ready?
Again, accuracy mode. Okay. And actually, that's a first, but this has been beat up a bunch. I actually broke the magazine. So, I'm going to go ahead and make that my sacrificial magazine now. But again, these have been dropped many times, so that's a first. Okay, so had an issue with the magazine coming out that threw a bit of a kink into my mental plans, and I really flubbed my reload and the following shots. I actually missed one of the last 4 shots. That was ugly. We're going to do that again. So here we go.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Okay, ugly reload. Obviously, I told you I haven't been doing a lot of work from this setup. And that's okay because I made sure I got all good hits. And what did we say? Accuracy standard is what we care about on this one. All very, very good hits that run. I'm going to do this one more time
Are you ready?
because I feel like I'm just kind of starting to get into it. Okay, that was much better. It felt good. No major flubs. So what do we have there? We actually had a really solid run when we look at this. A 1.64 draw to first shot. A 1.75 reload, not the spiciest, but acceptable. And a total overall time of 4.76 seconds. So this actually would have passed per the standard with the fast test. But I wasn't concerned about speed. I was concerned about accuracy. That's it. So we had somewhere in it was like a 5.6 something, a 5.9 something was the last run that was kind of ugly, and then a 4.76. So we're just going to make note of those times. Now what we're going to do is we're going to push the speed. So now we want to try to get our hits, obviously, but the most important thing when we're working on speed mode is more of the manipulation side of the equation. So draw needs to be absolutely spicy. Reload as fast as we can. Feel free to work the trigger as quickly as you're comfortable with doing. Because now in this mode, it's okay if we miss a shot or two occasionally, okay? Because that's a learning opportunity. We're looking to see what is kind of our max potential or max possible speed with respect to this drill. So that's what we're going to do now is speed mode. And let's just see how that compares with these 4.76 to upper 5-second range times of these other runs that I just did. All right, here we go.
Are you ready?
Speed mode.
Stand by.
Okay, so I missed one of the headshots. It was slightly high. And I probably could have worked the trigger a bit quicker, on the last 4 shots. My reload is a 1.58, that's good. My draw to first shot time was a 1.45, that's good. Let's see if we can bring that down even more. Again, we're accepting the fact we dropped 1 shot, not the end of the world. We are working on speed.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Okay. All right, I got all my hits, so that's good. Draw to first shot was a 1.14, that was excellent. And then our reload is a 1.54, okay? I do feel like I could work a little bit quicker on the reload. Part of it is actually getting that mag seated. It's from this point to here, getting the gun, the grip rebuilt and the gun remounted on target. I'm recognizing that there's a bit of a hiccup going on there for me personally right now with that. So we're going to do this one more time in speed mode and see if we can clean that part up a little bit. Okay.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Ah, darn it. Let's try again. That was kind of ugly.
Are you ready?
That's what we're doing though. We're learning and practicing. Awesome. Okay, I liked that one because that was really pushing the speed. And I pretty much got all my hits with the exception of one of the head shots, which was the second one. So my draw to first shot was actually a 1.11. That's pretty dang spicy on that small of a target from this distance. My reload is a 1.45, which is pretty close to what it has been, my fastest runs. And I mean, clearly as I'm looking at this, I can do a little bit better job with my reloads. So I should spend some time working on reloads for me. The draw I'm pretty happy with. My draws are going pretty well. My hits are pretty good. So my control of the grip and everything is pretty solid. But reloads is definitely a big opportunity here for me to work on. That's what's great about drills like this, because we can, just by looking at the numbers, we can recognize, whether we need to improve on our draw, improve on the reload, improve on, hits or whatever it is. So now, looking at the total overall times from those 3 fast test runs, first one was like 3.7 something. I actually forgot to really look at the second one. The third one here was the 3.15. So we're really kind of talking about low 3s to upper 3s and comparing that to upper 4s to upper 5s. You see the big difference here from accuracy mode to speed mode. But obviously, because I'm really overemphasizing the speed component here, we are dropping some shots. And so far, where the biggest opportunity for drop shots is occurring is on the head shots. So the reality is I can probably continue really pushing and shooting aggressively on those body shots on these real mode or match mode runs. But where I want to exercise a little more care and really be accountable to my sight picture is going to be on those 2 headshots right from the start. So now for our final runs, we're going to do the real mode or match mode piece of this, okay? That's the final piece to put together. Now, in actual dry fire practice, if this was a full-on practice session for me at home, I wouldn't just do this 3 times accuracy mode, 3 times speed mode, 3 times real mode and call it done. That's not a practice session. I would probably do this, 10 times each. And actually, the reality is I'd probably do accuracy mode a couple of times. Spend a ton of time really pushing speed just to see what's possible, and then spend at least as much of that time, if not more, working on finding the right balance in real mode or match mode. Accuracy mode is really all about proving to ourselves and giving ourselves the confidence that we have the skill necessary to get the hits that are required. As soon as we prove that to ourselves, we can move on and do everything else. So I'd work on, again, accuracy mode just a couple of times and then spend all the rest of the time really pushing speed and then working on finding that right balance. So let's do this a couple of times in real mode and see where we end up.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Okay, not the finest example there. Missed reload, missed first shot. Ended up in the 4.81 range. Let's give it another go.
Are you ready? Stand by.
That was pretty awesome, because that was right up there with some of the fastest times that I did a moment ago, but I was being fully accountable for all my hits. I saw and called 2 very good headshot hits, and actually the first one was in 132. That's an excellent time. The reload is a 142, which I think is my fastest one I've seen yet here today. And then we wrapped everything up with the final shots ending at 3.52 seconds. Let's do one more run here.
Are you ready? Stand by.
Whew, okay. So another really solid run. I think I got a little bit lucky though, I'll be honest with you, because I hit that first shot in 1 second flat. My reaction time on that one was stellar. I mean, I heard the beep and I was off to the races. I think part of the reason why this one flowed so well and just worked out the way it did is the gun came out and it went right to the target. My sights were right there and I knew they were, and I just sent it. 1 second first shot, 142 reload, similar to the last one. Now here's the thing where I almost got in trouble. My first shot following the reload was a bit early, so I was still fixing the grip, and I sent a shot and it hit down there in the lower left A zone. I got lucky. If that had been an IDPA target, it actually would not have been in the hit zone. I am confident of that. So that would not have been a passing run. So I ended up with a 326, which is pretty dang awesome, with full shot accountability, but that, again, I got a little bit lucky on that first shot after the reload. So I'd like to go ahead and run this one more time just for consistency's sake.
Are you ready?
And let's see if we can clean that up a little bit more. Ah! Darn mag reload. So what's curious about this is the old style, right? 320 grip style. And everything I run these days is more of what we call the X grip. It's just a little bit of difference there, and it's forcing me to relearn a little bit here. Overall, though, a pretty solid run. A 115 first shot, a 208 reload, and that was all of that problem there. But then I still ended up with a 415 overall time. I was very happy with my shot accountability here. I was happy with everything except a little bit of flubbing going on there with the reload. So again, we already identified earlier on in our practice session today that where I need to spend some time is working on reloads. I told you I've been doing a lot of dry fire work from concealment, and I just don't, in the concealment context, reloads just aren't as important to me as they are in the competitive context. And we're getting back into that competitive shooting season, so it's time for me to really spend some time working on reloads. Okay guys, that's a fast test. So again, if we could do this consistently in less than 5 seconds in live fire, you're gonna do a great job if you ever have the opportunity in front of Mr. Langdon to shoot for a fast coin. In dry fire mode, I would expect, just because of the lack of recoil, that I'd want to see myself performing consistently sub 4 seconds to have any realistic expectation of being able to accomplish this in live fire in sub 5 seconds, just to give you kind of an idea. And I can make that estimation based on experience of having done this in dry fire and also having done it in live fire numerous times. So that would be my take on that. Guys, this is a fast test, the fundamentals, accuracy, and speed test. It's a great, simple, low round count, but comprehensive drill that tests a lot of different shooting related skills and manipulations. So I'd encourage you to work on that this month. It's a great opportunity to work on those things. One final note, I was just thinking back to how this all went down. Really, one of the big keys, guys, is making sure that draw to that headshot is as clean as it can be. If you find yourself struggling with getting those headshots, getting those hits in there cleanly, then you really want to spend some time working on draw and making sure that it is consistent and repeatable, and that when your gun comes up here, it should be coming right to your eye with respect to that front sight, rear sight alignment. Or if you're shooting a red dot, seeing that dot appear on the head. If you're not seeing the sight picture where you need to see it right at the outset, then we've got some things we need to clear up somewhere in our draw stroke. That's one of the unique things about this drill, is that you start with the hardest shots first, and it really forces you to be honest, and it keeps you honest in that draw stroke skill. So that's usually where I find a lot of people struggle. So I'd encourage you to spend a little time on that if that's something you struggle with. And meanwhile, I'm going to get to the reload practice. Thanks for watching this month's Shooter Ready Challenge. Don't forget to sign up for our email list on the shooterreadychallenge.com site. Scroll down a little bit below the videos. You'll see where you can enter in your email. If you do that, you will be entered automatically in our monthly giveaway drawing for free gear from our sponsors, but also from Ready Up Gear that donates a lot of the products for that giveaway. So make sure you're on that email list, and we'll see you back here next month with more Shooter Ready Challenge. Thanks for watching.